Hollywood's brightest sitcom stars aren't just alive, they're hiding shocking secrets with over 100 years of scandal combined. From Hollywood icons entangled in legal battles to martial arts legends with dark secrets. Here are 25 martial arts actors accused of serious crimes. 1. Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal was once a powerful name in Hollywood, known for his action-packed films where he played fearless heroes. But in real life, his reputation is far from heroic. Over the years, many women have accused him of serious misconduct, from harassment to outright assault. These accusations go back decades, yet Seagal has avoided facing real legal punishment. In 2018, the Los Angeles authorities reviewed a case against him, but charges were never filed due to legal time limits. It left many wondering, was justice truly served, or did fame once again protect the powerful? Even before these allegations, Seagal's behavior had raised concerns. He had a history of making inappropriate advances towards women, even on movie sets. Some actresses have spoken about how uncomfortable it was to work with him, describing situations where he allegedly invited them to private auditions that felt more like traps. Despite this, his career kept going. He even found new success outside Hollywood, working closely with political figures in Russia. 2. Michael Jai White. Michael Jai White has always been a powerhouse in martial arts and acting. With his skills and screen presence, he earned roles in big action films. But in 2015, his personal life took a dark turn when he was arrested after a domestic dispute. The news shocked fans. How could someone so disciplined lose control? The case didn't go far, as the charges were eventually dropped. Still, the damage to his image had been done. Many were left questioning, was this truly a misunderstanding, or was something being covered up? After the arrest, White spoke about keeping private matters out of the public eye. He urged people to resolve conflicts without violence. But the question remains, if nothing serious happened, why was he arrested in the first place? His reputation as a strong yet controlled martial artist seemed at odds with the situation. Though he continued working in Hollywood, whispers of the incident still followed him. 3. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes became a household name thanks to his unforgettable performance as Blade, the vampire-hunting hero. But in real life, he wasn't fighting supernatural enemies. He was battling the U.S. government. In 2008, he was convicted of failing to file his federal taxes for years. Unlike other celebrities who managed to avoid prison, Snipes was sentenced to 3 years behind bars. Fans were stunned. How could a successful star end up in this situation? Had he truly believed he was above the law, or was it simply reckless financial mismanagement? His defense argued that he had received bad advice from financial advisors, but the court didn't buy it. The IRS made an example of him, showing that no one, no matter how famous, could escape tax laws. Snipes served his sentence and was released in 2013, determined to rebuild his life. He returned to acting, but his career never fully recovered. The scandal left a permanent stain on his legacy. 4. Tony Jaa. Tony Jaa stunned audiences with his breathtaking martial arts skills in Ong Bak. His moves were fast, fierce, and real. No wires, no CGI. But behind the scenes, his career took a strange turn. In 2008, while working on a film he was directing, he suddenly disappeared from the set. His absence created chaos. Where had he gone? Rumors swirled about stress, conflicts with producers, and even financial trouble. His vanishing act led to serious legal issues, putting his once promising career at risk. Jaa later reappeared and tried to explain his actions, but the damage had been done. The production company sued him for breach of contract, and his reputation took a major hit. It wasn't just about one movie. His reliability as a filmmaker was now in question. Though he eventually returned to making films, the incident left fans uneasy. 5. Mark Dacascos. Mark Dacascos made a name for himself with his impressive martial arts performances in films and TV. His discipline and skill made him a respected figure. But in 2010, He shocked fans when he was arrested for driving under the influence. The news was a harsh reminder that even those who seem strong and in control can make reckless decisions. Dacascos later apologized, saying he deeply regretted his actions, but for many it raised a troubling question. How did someone so disciplined lose control like this? Dacascos had always presented himself as a role model, showing the balance between mind and body that martial arts teaches. His arrest shattered that image. The mistake could have ended in tragedy, not just for him, but for others on the road. While he moved forward with his career, the arrest remained a dark moment in his history. 6. Scott Adkins. Scott Adkins is a powerhouse in martial arts movies, known for his intense performances in Undisputed and Ninja. Fans admire his dedication to action-packed roles, but behind the scenes, things haven't always gone smoothly. In 2012, he found himself locked in a bitter legal battle over a film contract, a fight that put his reputation at risk. The details were never fully revealed, but whispers of unfulfilled promises and money disputes swirled around the case. Some reports hinted that producers accused him of failing to meet obligations, while others suggested Adkins was the one being mistreated. While the lawsuit was settled quietly, many wondered what had truly happened. Was he wronged, or did he break the deal himself? No one ever got a clear answer, but one thing was certain: Hollywood is full of agreements that can crumble in an instant. Even after the case was closed, some fans and insiders couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. He never directly addressed the matter in detail, leaving room for speculation. Some say he took a financial hit, while others believe the dispute may have cost him major roles. But Adkins did what he does best, kept moving forward, proving that even when faced with setbacks, action stars never stay down for long. 7. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme is one of the biggest names in martial arts cinema, a man whose kicks and punches became legendary. But no amount of training could prepare him for the trouble he found himself in back in 1999. The Muscles from Brussels was arrested for driving under the influence, a serious crime that put lives at risk. His sentence? A fine and probation. But the real damage wasn't just legal, it was personal. People started to question whether the action star had lost control of his own life. As the news spread, it painted a picture of a man battling something far bigger than any on-screen opponent. Van Damme later admitted to struggling with substance abuse, revealing that addiction had nearly destroyed him. He described moments of extreme highs followed by crushing lows, a battle that had been hidden behind his public image. He vowed to change, promising to rebuild his life and career. But could he? The industry has never been kind to those who show weakness, and Van Damme's fall from grace seemed inevitable. While he did manage to land more roles, the stain of his past never fully faded. His struggles became part of his legacy, a reminder that fame does not make someone invincible. 8. Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is a name known across the world, loved for his mix of comedy and martial arts. But in 2014, his family name was dragged into a scandal that shocked his fans. His son, J.C. Chan, was arrested for substance possession, and suddenly Jackie wasn't just a movie star. He was the father of a criminal. The incident left his fans stunned. Jackie had built his career on discipline, hard work, and strict values. How could his son have gone down this path? Instead of making excuses, Jackie did something unexpected. He spoke out, apologizing to the public and saying he was ashamed. Some admired his honesty, while others questioned whether he had been too focused on his career to see what was happening at home. Though Jackie himself wasn't involved in the crime, his son's actions cast a shadow over his carefully built legacy. The news spread quickly, and for the first time, Jackie's reputation was under scrutiny. He had spent decades crafting an image of respect, hard work, and perseverance, only to have it tested in an instant. Some fans forgave him, acknowledging that parents can only do so much. 9. Sammo Hung. Sammo Hung is a martial arts legend, a man who helped shape Hong Kong cinema with his skills both on screen and behind the camera. But even legends face tough battles outside the movie set. In the early 2000s, Hung found himself caught in a legal storm, tangled up in contract disputes with production companies. At first, it seemed like just another business disagreement, but the situation grew tense as lawsuits were filed and money was put on the line. Some suspected that powerful figures in the industry were working against him, trying to push him out. Others believed that Hung himself had made bad deals. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. This wasn't just about contracts. It was a fight for his place in the industry. The legal battles dragged on, and every new lawsuit chipped away at his reputation. The film industry thrives on relationships, and some feared that these disputes could make Hung a difficult name to work with. After years of legal back and forth, the disputes were settled, but not without damage. The battles cost him time, energy, and perhaps even opportunities. 10. Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is known for his lightning-fast moves and powerful performances in films like Ip Man, but in 2012, his name made headlines for a very different reason: a legal war with a production company. The dispute centered around broken promises and financial disagreements, and suddenly, the martial arts master was no longer just fighting on screen. Fans were shocked. Donnie Yen had always been seen as a disciplined, focused professional. How could he end up in such a messy situation? Some believed he had been wronged, that he was the victim of an unfair deal. Others weren't so sure. In Hollywood, contracts are everything, and breaking one, intentionally or not, can have serious consequences. The case was settled out of court, but not before it raised some uncomfortable questions. Could Yen's reputation take a hit from this? Would studios hesitate before working with him again? Though he continued to land roles and gain international fame, the case remained a reminder that even the biggest stars can find themselves in situations that threaten everything they've built. Yen did his best to move on, never speaking much about the dispute, but those who followed his career closely knew that even a silent scandal can leave a mark. 11. Jet Li. Jet Li built a strong reputation as both a martial artist and an actor, starring in major Chinese and Hollywood films. However, in 2009, his citizenship choices brought serious legal troubles. His attempt to navigate financial and political matters led to an investigation that threatened his business ventures. The controversy stirred debates about celebrity influence and national loyalty, casting a shadow over his career. While he managed to resolve the matter, the situation exposed the risks that come with fame and international success. Li had built a clean public image, portraying himself as a disciplined, hard-working martial artist who valued honor and tradition. But questions arose when reports surfaced that his business dealings were not as straightforward as they seemed. People started to wonder, was he just another celebrity using his fame for personal gain? Critics accused him of making choices that only benefited himself, while his supporters argued that he was unfairly targeted. His reputation, once spotless, now carried a stain that some would not forget. Even after resolving the issue, doubts remained. The situation reminded the world that no one, no matter how respected, is free from scrutiny. His fans continued to support him, but the controversy showed how quickly admiration could turn into suspicion. What really happened behind closed doors? Was his fame enough to protect him from deeper consequences? The case quietly disappeared from the headlines, but the whispers about it never fully faded. 12. Bolo Yeung. Bolo Yeung, widely recognized for his intimidating roles as a martial arts villain, found himself entangled in legal troubles in the 1980s. His involvement in business conflicts in Hong Kong led to allegations that tarnished his otherwise strong persona. While these disputes were eventually settled, they raised questions about his dealings outside of the film industry. His name, once synonymous with power and dominance on screen, was momentarily linked to controversy. Despite the setback, he continued to work in martial arts films, maintaining his status as a legendary figure in the genre. Yeung was known for playing tough, ruthless characters who showed no weakness, but reality proved different. His business choices put him in a difficult situation, and for a moment it seemed like his larger-than-life image was cracking. Could he really be trusted? What had he done to land himself in legal trouble? Some believed he was simply caught in an unfortunate situation, while others whispered that there was more to the story. His silence on the issue only fueled speculation. 13. Sonny Chiba. Sonny Chiba gained fame for his hard-hitting performances in action films, but his off-screen conflicts in the 1970s drew attention for the wrong reasons. Disagreements with film studios over contracts escalated into legal confrontations, challenging his ability to continue working in the industry. His legal battles exposed the harsh realities of the entertainment business, where even established actors could face serious repercussions. Though he managed to settle the disputes, the ordeal highlighted the instability that comes with a career in film. His legacy remains intact, but his struggles serve as a reminder of the darker side of success. Chiba was known for his strong, unstoppable presence on screen, but behind the scenes, things were far less glamorous. His fight wasn't with villains in a movie, it was with powerful figures in the industry. Studio executives claimed he was difficult to work with, but Chiba saw things differently. Was he really being unfairly treated, or was he refusing to follow the rules? As the legal battle stretched on, rumors spread. Some said he was standing up for himself, while others believed he had crossed a line. Even after the matter was settled, the damage was done. The industry had a way of remembering conflicts, and some doors were closed to him forever. He fought hard to rebuild his standing, but the past was never completely erased. What really happened during those disputes? Was he the victim, or had he made enemies he couldn't defeat? His career continued, but the controversy added an edge to his story, making it one that fans would never forget. 14. Gordon Liu. Gordon Liu, a respected martial arts actor known for his work in classic kung fu films, endured not just physical hardship, but also legal turmoil. In 2011, after suffering a debilitating stroke, he became entangled in disputes over his personal finances and guardianship. The battle over his care revealed just how vulnerable public figures can be when faced with unexpected health crises. The conflict drew criticism from fans who questioned the motives of those involved in managing his affairs. His unfortunate situation shed light on the difficulties aging actors face, even those who once seemed invincible on screen. Liu had spent decades portraying strong, fearless warriors, but in real life, he found himself in a different kind of fight. His health left him defenseless, and soon those around him began arguing over his money and future. Who could he trust? Fans were horrified as details emerged. Those closest to him were battling for control, and it wasn't clear who had his best interests at heart. Was he just another forgotten star, abandoned when he needed help the most? Even as the legal matters were resolved, the story left an unsettling feeling. Liu's legacy as a martial arts legend was secure, but his personal troubles served as a harsh warning. Fame and fortune don't last forever, and when they fade, what remains? His struggle was a tragic reminder that even the strongest warriors are not immune to betrayal, greed, and loss. 15. Ernie Reyes Jr. Ernie Reyes Jr., remembered for his energetic performances in martial arts films, saw his reputation shaken in 2015 when he was arrested for an alleged domestic assault. The incident shocked fans who had admired his talent and discipline in the sport. Although the charges were later dropped, the situation raised concerns about his personal struggles behind the scenes. His arrest served as a harsh reminder that even respected figures in martial arts can face serious accusations. Since then, he has worked to rebuild his life and career, with continued support from his fans and peers in the industry. Reyes had once been seen as a positive role model, someone who embodied the discipline and honor of martial arts. But after his arrest, everything changed. Suddenly, people weren't just talking about his fighting skills, they were questioning his character. What had really happened? Had he lost control, or was there more to the story? The truth remained unclear, but the damage to his reputation was immediate. Even after the charges were dropped, The public's trust wasn't easy to regain. Every time his name came up, the past was mentioned too. Could he ever truly leave it behind? Reyes continued to fight, not in the ring, but in life, to prove he was more than the accusations. But in the world of fame, once a shadow is cast, it never fully disappears. (16) Joe's son. Joe's son was once a mixed martial artist and actor, best known for his small but memorable role in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. But behind the scenes, his life was far darker than any Hollywood script. While he appeared in the spotlight for a brief time, his true nature came to light years later. In 2008, investigators uncovered a horrifying truth. DNA evidence linked him to a brutal gang rape and torture case from 1990. For nearly 2 decades, the crime had remained unsolved, but Son's past finally caught up with him. In 2011, a court found him guilty of felony torture, sentencing him to 7 years to life in prison. His crimes were shocking, but what happened next made things even worse. Prison was not the end of Son's violence. In 2011, he was accused of eliminating his cellmate, a man serving time for failure to register as an intimate offender. The details of the crime were disturbing. Son had beaten and strangled the man, leaving a gruesome crime scene inside the prison walls. A jury found him guilty of voluntary manslaughter, adding another 27 years to his sentence. There was no escape from justice this time. From a movie villain to a real-life monster, his fall was complete. How did a man who once stood in front of cameras end up with such a horrifying fate? His story serves as a chilling reminder that real darkness can hide behind any face. 17. War Machine. Jonathan Paul Copenhaver. Jonathan Paul Copenhaver, who later changed his name to War Machine, was once a promising mixed martial artist. He fought for major organizations like UFC and Bellator, but his success inside the cage could not hide the violence that existed in his personal life. His rage was no longer limited to his opponents. It spilled over into his real world. In 2014, his brutal attack on his ex-girlfriend, adult film actress Christy Mack, shocked the world. The details of the assault were horrifying. War Machine entered her home and launched a vicious beating that left her unrecognizable. Broken bones, missing teeth, and emotional scars that would never fully heal. Her injuries told a terrifying story of rage and control. The attack did not stop with Mack. Her friend Corey Thomas was also caught in the violent outburst, suffering injuries at the hands of War Machine. But even as he fled, thinking he had escaped, the truth was closing in. He was soon arrested and charged with nearly 30 felonies. The trial was just as disturbing as the crime itself. Mack bravely testified about the horror she endured, her voice shaking as she described the night that nearly ended her life. The jury wasted no time. War Machine was convicted on 29 felony counts, including kidnapping, assault, and many other violent crimes. His sentence was severe: life in prison. The only small chance of freedom? A parole hearing after 36 years. But even if that day ever comes, his crimes will never be forgotten. What drives a man with so much talent to destroy his own life and the lives of others? Some questions may never have answers. 18. Lee Murray. Lee Murray had power, speed, and a reputation as one of the toughest men in mixed martial arts. But his skills in the cage were nothing compared to his skills as a criminal mastermind. He wasn't just a fighter. He was a planner, a leader, a thief. And in 2006, he proved it when he helped pull off the biggest cash robbery in British history. The Securitas Depot robbery in Kent was no ordinary crime. It was the stuff of movies. Masked men, hostages, and a fortune stolen in a single night. The criminals made off with over £53 million, an amount so huge that police had no doubt they were dealing with professionals. And at the center of it all was Murray. After the heist, he fled to Morocco, hoping to escape justice. For a while, it seemed like he had succeeded, but the law never stops chasing. Authorities finally caught up with him, and he was arrested in 2006. At first, he received a 10-year sentence, but his story did not end there. Murray, never one to back down from a fight, attempted to escape. His plan failed, and the consequences were severe. His sentence was extended to 25 years. Now, the man who once stood tall in the octagon sits behind bars, knowing that his best years are lost. Was the money worth it? Was the thrill of crime greater than the thrill of victory? One thing is certain. He gambled his life on the perfect crime, and he lost. 19. Phil Baroni. Phil Baroni made a name for himself with his knockout power and brash personality. He was a fighter who loved the spotlight, never shying away from controversy. But in 2023, his name became linked to something far darker than any UFC rivalry. News broke that Baroni had been arrested in Mexico for the alleged elimination of his girlfriend. The details were grim. What began as a heated argument spiraled into deadly violence. When the shouting stopped, only silence remained, and a woman had lost her life. Baroni was taken into custody, facing one of the most serious accusations imaginable. His career had already faded, but this was something far worse. Once a man known for his fierce battles in the cage, he now fought for his freedom. His trial looms, and the weight of the crime hangs heavy over his name. Could he have stopped before things turned deadly? Was there a moment where everything could have changed? No matter what happens in the courtroom, his legacy is forever stained. 20. John Jones. John Jones is considered one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. His skills inside the octagon are nearly unmatched. But outside the ring, his life has been a train wreck of bad decisions and legal troubles. His troubles began in 2012 when he was arrested for crashing his car while driving under the influence. That was only the start. In 2015, he was involved in a hit-and-run accident that injured a pregnant woman. Instead of helping, he fled the scene, leading to a felony charge that shook his career. Jones had chances to turn things around, but he never did. More arrests followed, including more DUIs and a disturbing domestic violence allegation in 2021. Each time, fans and critics wondered if he would finally learn his lesson. But the pattern continued, and his rap sheet grew longer. Despite everything, he kept getting fights, winning titles, and cementing his place in UFC history. But how much can a person's talent excuse? How many second chances should one man get? Jones may be a legend in the cage, but outside of it, his reputation is built on chaos and bad choices. One mistake is an accident. Repeated mistakes tell a different story. 21. Abel Trujillo. Abel Trujillo once stood in the UFC's lightweight division, known for his skills in wrestling. But behind the scenes, his life was far from honorable. In 2019, his name hit the news for all the wrong reasons. He was arrested for crimes related to child exploitation. Investigators discovered he had been sending inappropriate messages and images to minors, a crime that shocked many. Fans who once admired his fighting spirit were left speechless, wondering how someone in his position could fall so far. As the case unfolded, the details only became more disturbing. Trujillo was not just accused, but later admitted guilt to attempted exploitation of a minor. In 2021, he was sentenced to 2 years of probation, a punishment that left many questioning whether justice had truly been served. Was that enough for the damage done? Some believe he got off easy, considering the nature of his crime. His reputation, however, is beyond repair, and his name will forever be tied to disgrace. 22. Brett Rogers. Brett Rogers was once a powerful name in Strikeforce, a fighter known for knocking out his opponents with brutal strength. But outside the cage, his violence took a far darker turn. In 2011, he was arrested for physically attacking his wife in an act so shocking that it led to domestic violence charges. The details were horrific, and the once respected fighter quickly lost all support from the MMA world. But this wasn't just one terrible mistake. His story only got worse. Years later, in 2017, Rogers faced even more disturbing allegations. This time, multiple men accused him of assault, with incidents reported in a public library. The idea of a former heavyweight fighter using his strength against unsuspecting victims horrified many. These shocking crimes destroyed whatever was left of his career. Instead of being remembered for his skills in the ring, his legacy is now built on violence and criminal acts that disgust those who once cheered for him. 23. B.J. Penn. 24. Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva was a name that struck fear in the UFC's light heavyweight division. His aggressive fighting style and knockout power made him a dangerous opponent. But the aggression he showed in the cage didn't stop there. It followed him into his personal life. In 2014, Silva was arrested in Florida for a terrifying incident involving his ex-wife. Witnesses reported that he threatened her with a gun outside a martial arts gym, an act that sent shockwaves through the MMA world. The situation quickly escalated into a full-blown police standoff. A SWAT team had to be called in after Silva barricaded himself inside his home. What could have been a simple arrest turned into a dramatic scene straight out of a movie. Eventually, he was taken into custody, but in a shocking twist, the charges were later dropped. His ex-wife left the country and refused to testify, allowing him to walk free. Many saw this as a major failure of the justice system. Would the outcome have been different if the victim had stayed? No one will ever know for sure, but one thing is clear: Silva's reputation will never recover. 25. Melvin Guillard. Melvin Guillard was once a rising star in the UFC, a fighter known for his knockout power and fast hands. But his talent in the cage was overshadowed by his troubles outside of it. In 2018, he was arrested for domestic battery after being accused of hitting his girlfriend. It was a disturbing incident, but sadly, it wasn't the last time he would find himself in legal trouble. The pattern of violence only continued. In 2021, Guillard's troubles escalated when he was arrested again, this time for aggravated battery. In a bar fight, he struck a man so hard that the victim suffered a fractured skull. The horrifying details of the attack left people wondering what had led Guillard down such a destructive path. Could this have been avoided? Could he have taken control of his life before things spiraled so far? With repeated arrests and acts of violence, it's hard to imagine a future where Guillard finds redemption. His legacy, once built on speed and power, is now buried under the weight of legal battles and broken lives. He once had a chance to be remembered as a great fighter. Now, he will be remembered for something far worse.